Hello guys, it's Cuddlecraft, and today we're playing some Kerbal Space Program. Now, I've pre-recorded this and sped it up 10 times, around 10 times, and basically we're going to be landing a colony on Minmus. So, I'm doing a voiceover of the video. So, it is gonna be pretty bad quality. I'm sorry about that. My editing software did something weird with it. It made it really bad, so yeah, just gonna go ahead and get that out of the way. So this will be sending a colony to Minmus for science gains for our space program. Now this isn't sandbox because my science save is glitching out right now. But I do have a science save with all the parts unlocked, so that's why I'm using all these parts. And I have I do have the processing lab, even though I couldn't use it. I forgot to put people in it because that's me. So we're just gonna get a simple lander. Now this will have too much delta V, because it's really hard to have a low amount of delta, not that much delta V left. It won't be returning. If it was returning, then it'd probably have just enough delta V or just a little bit more. But since it's just gonna land there and stay there, it is all probe controlled, so there's no astronauts piloting this. So it's gonna be the Mark 20. Let's go ahead and get it out onto the launch pad, and I'm gonna go ahead and fix the staging and ignition. Okay, so we're gonna take a very normal ascent. There's some wobbling right there. I forgot to auto strut. We're just gonna do a normal gravity turn. You want to get to the 45 number at around 10 kilometers, which you can see on the top. You don't want to accelerate too fast, because then you can burn up, and you can see a little bit of the colony poking through. I'm gonna call it a colony from now because it was meant to be a colony, but I didn't put people on it, so I'm dumb. Once you get to about 20,000 meters, you want to be in between the 45 and the 90. And you can see me throttling down because I don't want to accelerate too fast. I throttle down to 1/3 throttle for this. And then I'll throttle back up to just finish it out. And that's first stage. Took us almost to orbit. We're going to burn a little bit more, just to make sure our apoapsis is at a good height. So you stop the burn. Just me playing around a little bit with some maneuvers. Okay. We deploy the fairing because we don't need that excess weight anymore. So you can see the payload in space. Let's go ahead and IS in a few seconds will time warp to the apoapsis, or I might just wait it out. I can't remember. I think I do time warp a little bit. I'm right here. I'm just testing if the landing gear goes past the fairing. Excuse me. So about here, we prepare to perform our apoapsis kick or apogee kick, which is basically just going to get us into a circular orbit. Basically, to do this, you aim prograde, and once you get close to your apoapsis, you just burn at max throttle, and it'll expand your orbit to where you have an actual orbit and not a semi-orbit or suborbit. And then we get a periapsis, and we're gonna go ahead and time warp to our apoapsis, and then we'll burn prograde once we get to our apoapsis to raise our periapsis to be above the Kármán line, which is the line where orbit starts, or like the line where space starts and you're not in like the atmosphere anymore. So go ahead and set Minmus as a target. I went to the descending node and I just dragged out the prograde marker, and I did luckily get an encounter. Usually I don't, and usually I have to like you have to move, adjust your inclination, but on this I got a encounter just without doing anything. So we're gonna go ahead and time warp to our maneuver node, go ahead and aim towards our maneuver, and once we'll get to a relatively close, and then we'll just leave the map view to make it easier. We'll go ahead and bring the ship around. Now, while I'm doing this voiceover, I'm looking at like a little tiny screen, a tiny little box. So it's hard for me to like read the numbers. So I can't really like tell you how much delta V we have left. But I'll be able to sort that out in a little bit. I just need a little bit of time to figure out what this editor is doing, editing software. So we're gonna go ahead and burn, and we have a nice burn. We've accelerated, so we're leaving Kerbal orbit, and we're gonna time warp now to our orbit around Minmus. And let's go ahead. We found the periapsis. We're gonna go ahead and aim retrograde, and I did have to turn on infinite electricity for a little bit just so I can extend my solar panels, but I'll extend them right here. Once I aim retrograde, I'll extend my solar panels, and I'm gonna turn off infinite electricity. They're already expanded. There they are. Okay. Now, YouTube like crushes color, basically. They make like dark colors darker and light colors lighter. So I am gonna try and land on the light side of the of Minmus. I had an extra 1,000 meters a second of delta V there, knocking into the shroud and the decoupler. I had an extra like 1,500 meters a second of delta V in that stage, but that stage can't land, so I'm just gonna let it crash down into Minmus. Have a pretty good landing site. I'm gonna land in that like valley area you'll see in a second, right there where my cursor was. Right here, I'm gonna land right here. It's pretty flat, so it's a pretty slow descent because Minmus is very forgiving. It doesn't have that much, it doesn't require that much delta V. So I really over-engineered this rocket a lot, but I wanted to make sure I could get there. And it was a pretty cool rocket design that I had made. I use it for a lot of stuff. The Mark 20, that's what I call it. Really bad name. But you can see us time warping to our descent. We're just gonna go ahead and burn at max throttle. Now right here, close to right here, you'll see me like try and find a suicide burn, which means like it's the time till you reach 0 meters a second and the time to your landing are the exact same. So basically, you burn your engine at the speed you burn your engine at the speed where once you touch the ground, you'll be at 0 meters a second. So right before you touch the ground, you'll be at 0.1 meters a second. You can see me right here adjusting my thrust limiter, because even the lowest thrust is still too powerful with the Poodle engine. So we're just going to keep on descending. I'll lower it a little bit more. And if you're wondering, like, this is times 10 speed. So normally, you can imagine how long this would take. It was just, like, inch by inch going down. So, we've almost landed. And I'm going to go ahead and cut throttle. And we have a little bit of a rough landing. I cut throttle too late. Or too early, actually. Excuse me. So, once I cut throttle, I, started moving down again, which caused a little bit of that. But, yeah, that's that. I'm just going to time warp a little bit. And, let's go ahead and time warp to the next day. And there we go. There's the sun rise, the Minmus sunrise. And that's the recording. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like down below. We still have some stuff happening. Make sure to leave a like down below. And anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one.